Yo, what it do, everybody? This your man Dre, aka Dre on Wheels. This is episode 32 of the 11:30 podcast, Talk Pro Wrestling. What's going on with everybody out there? Appreciate you guys joining me back here for a new episode. You dig, man? Good morning, good night, good afternoon. To all my listeners, all my subscribers all over the world. Appreciate you joining me back here just to hear me chat some Talk Pro Wrestling, man. For real, man. I appreciate it so much, man. Shout out to all my listeners across the U.S., man. Germany, Canada, the U.K. Shout out to the U.K., man. Some diehard wrestling fans, though. But welcome back, you guys, to Talk Pro Wrestling, man. You guys, man, don't forget to subscribe to the 11:30 podcast on YouTube, you dig, man. Subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss an episode. Also, you guys, man, don't forget to follow the 11:30 podcast on all social media platforms. But you guys, man, I'm back here on the podcast, man. New episode, Talk Pro Wrestling. It's going to be a fun one, you guys, man. This week's my guest is going to be Christopher Avery Queling. I hope I'm saying his name so right, man. Christopher Avery Queling, CAQ Unshackled, man. That's where you go by in the ring, man. He's from Woodbridge, New Jersey, you guys. He's an independent pro wrestler for WrestlePro, you guys, man. They're doing some big things, you guys. He's an independent pro. He's going to be joining me here on the 11:30 podcast, Talk Pro Wrestling, you guys, in just a bit. But before we get to that, you guys, I want to shout out my guest who was on last week, Izzy, you guys, man. Yes, Izzy. If you've seen NXT, you guys, man, well, you know Izzy. You know, she's the Big Bailey, you know, fan, the little girl, the crowd, man. She's grown now. She's getting older though. But she got her own YouTube channel, you guys. It's called Izzy Mania, you guys. Go check it out. Go subscribe, man. But you guys, man, like I was saying, my guy CAQ Unshackled from Woodbridge, New Jersey, independent pro wrestler, and he wrestles for WrestlePro, you guys. He's joining me. What's going on, bro?
It's going well, and how about yourself?
Going good, man. I appreciate you joining me here on the podcast this week. How's your day?
Day's going fine. Cold, winter's here, so.
Yeah. Winter's
here. Pandemic's here.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, for my listeners who's joining me here this week, may you introduce yourself? Just tell me a little something about you, if you don't mind.
Oh, no, not at all. My name's Christopher Avery Queling, as he said at the top. Kind of doing a little bit of a mental transformation. That's also going to be personified in the ring. Going to be calling myself CAQ Unshackled, because I am moving past my mental health issues that I have, and I'm essentially taking all the anxiety, the depression, essentially the self-confidence issues, bottling all that up and just putting that energy out there.
Okay. Well, you talk about mental issues, how you deal with that, in pro wrestling.
Well, I mean, in pro wrestling, it's a very interesting way. Very interesting because for me, I have a combination of talk therapy along with some medication and also doing physical things, working out, and just really studying, keeping myself involved with it just to keep my mind straight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. You mean, my guy. How have you been staying focused throughout this pandemic?
Well, a lot of it's had to do with just taking a look at myself, just really looking at myself and trying to fix me, because I know I haven't been the best version of myself. So I've focused on dieting, I focused on exercising, running, since gyms were closed for a lot of this, and that's a hot button issue now with gyms being closed in certain places, or they were one of the last places to open back up, rather. And really just trying to fix things from the inside out.
Okay, cool. I see you got a new look, man. I'm following
Yeah,
you on social media.
yeah,
You cut the beard, man. Tell me about it.
yeah. Well, I've been taking a look at myself in the mirror, and for a while I grew the beard out and kind of looked and say, how can I fix myself? How can it be symbolic enough? And I thought, let me shave my beard, take it off, and reduce my hair as well. So I just think that on occasion you have to have a fresh coat of paint and just see where that takes you. Because with this, hopefully this shows some energy from my part. I'm putting effort into me, so hopefully that'll resonate with the wrestling world out there.
Okay, okay, that's cool, man. Speaking of wrestling, man, your first match back, was a couple of months ago.
Yeah,
Since the COVID hit, man, and you were
yeah.
in a vicious dog collar match. Can you tell me about that victory?
Oh yeah. Wrecking Ball Legursky, the man I wrestled, he's probably one of the hardest hitting people I've ever stepped in the ring with. And he's big, agile, and basically there's not a lot of people who can toss me around like a rag doll at 6'4", 260, but yeah, he definitely could. And it was my first ever dog collar match. I had been in strap matches before where the strap was on my wrist, but this is the first time it was around my neck. So that was definitely different, wrestling with that on and being able to use the chain. And really, it was the first time back since I dropped about 25 pounds. So it felt good to be back in the ring. Unfortunately, with COVID circumstances, I just haven't I haven't gotten myself booked
Okay.
since then. You know what I mean? So an event I was on got canceled because of it, and I know it really popped back up in our area that it shut down shows and postponed shows. So that's not exactly the best thing, but I kind of took it as an opportunity to really just keep focusing on me.
Okay, that's understandable, man.
Yeah.
Life throw you curveballs, and stuff just getting canceled. 2020 just been a crazy, crazy year.
Yeah.
What inspired you to train to become a pro wrestler?
I've always wanted to do it all my life, ever since my father ordered us WrestleMania 7. So that was my introduction into wrestling, and since then it's kind of snowballed into a passion and a lifelong dream for me.
Okay, that's what's up, man. WrestleMania 7. Was that the WrestleMania 7 where what was it? The Ultimate Warrior versus Randy Macho Man Savage?
Yeah, the career-ending match. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody loved that one, man. Great WrestleMania, though. But
Yeah,
what is your
underrated?
yeah? What's your outlook on pro wrestling as a whole?
I think it's starting to pick up some steam between AEW getting on cable last year, and especially since now they're partnering a bit with Impact to really really help them out too. And I think it's going to be a mutual thing where the more platforms there are, the better it's going to be.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
They did a little angle, I believe it was last week, where Kenny won the AEW World Championship, and the commentary guy, I think he's a executive vice president for Impact, and I've seen him on AEW a couple of times before, and I was like, okay, man, I like what they're doing, because AEW is also working with NWA. So I like the little floating around and stuff like that. I didn't catch Impact, and I wanted to catch Impact this past Tuesday because they was talking about Kenny Omega coming on Impact, to have the AEW World Title. Did you catch that?
I haven't been able to catch that yet, but I heard about what they said, and then Tony Khan and Tony Schiavone on there too,
Okay.
rebutting, and it would definitely be interesting to see some talent go, some wrestlers go back and forth if that's a possibility. I know that a guy who I wrestled with a lot in Bala Ba, I think he would definitely be interesting to see him in AEW at some point.
Okay. Okay,
Just
cool.
just to see where it goes and how that talent flow exchanges.
Okay, cool. What's your thoughts on AEW Dark? You know, how they try to help out the independent talent, trying to feature them on AEW Dark as much as possible, as much as they can.
Right.
That's on AEW Dark.
I think it's a great platform and opportunity, especially now that independent bookings are reduced, to
Mhm.
really help wrestlers get themselves out there. I know guy who trains at the school that I go to, Anthony Bowens, got signed, and Max Caster who trained at the sister school in on Long Island got signed too. So both of them got signed off of their appearances on AEW Dark, and now they're going to have their first match on Dynamite tomorrow night, or next week rather.
Okay, that's real,
Excuse
real
me.
cool.
Yeah,
That's real, real cool. When you
yeah,
see guys like that work with on the independent scene, does it motivate you?
yeah. It motivates me because I've shared locker rooms with them. I've shared the ring with them. So it kind of looks at me and tells me, hey, if these guys can do it and you're on the same platforms as they are, then you can do it too.
Yeah.
And that's part of the reason why I wanted to really just evaluate myself and revamp because I transformed because a few years back I wore a jumpsuit and kind of took a little side trip to the psych ward and essentially I want to evolve out of that into something different. Similar enough but different. So
Okay. That's cool, man. That's real, real cool.
yeah.
Also, man, who's been your favorite person to wrestle, man? Or that you would like to wrestle?
Another person who actually appeared on AEW Dark last week, Bobby Wayward. Him and I had some really good matches, including a strap match.
Okay.
That that was probably my favorite match that I've ever had.
Okay. Okay. That's real, real cool, man. Um, Earlier in the podcast, like I was saying, you had your first match back, of course, in the strap match, big victory. And most of the year has just been, just been at home quarantining and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Um, Hopefully, and I believe, you've been working on your craft. And now
yeah.
that things, are speeding up or, can be, do you feel like, you can, say what you want to say off your chest so you can, make a statement, I guess, or pull a promo?
I'm sorry. Say that one more time.
I said, get something off your chest, like, I'm back, do you want to pull a promo?
Well, I'm actually in the process of shooting a trailer of sorts that's going to be coming out over the next couple of weeks. Yeah, so essentially that's going to really contain what I have to say about my comeback, but just to kind of sum it up in a nutshell, it's really just taking everything that's inside of my head and
Mhm.
just unleashing it on the world of wrestling.
Okay. Well said, man. Said it
Yeah,
well. Said it well.
yeah.
Hey, with you guys, man. Here on the 11:30 podcast, Talk Pro Wrestling. I got my guy CAQ here, chopping it up with me, talking some pro wrestling, you guys. But sit tight, you guys. We're gonna take a quick, short break, and when we come back on the other side, we're gonna talk some more pro wrestling. We're gonna chat some NXT. War Games, man, Monday Night Raw, all that more, man. Sit tight, you guys. We'll be right back here on the 11:30 podcast, Talk Pro Wrestling.
Maybe you've thought, I should start a podcast. Meet Anchor, the easiest way to make a podcast ever. It's a powerful mobile app and web tool that lets you record a podcast anywhere and distribute it everywhere. It's great whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out. And it's 100% free. You can record your show straight into Anchor on your phone, iPad, or the web, using any mic you want. Record alone or with friends or co-hosts anywhere in the world. You can add background music and transitions, and your listeners can send you voice messages that you can incorporate right into your next episode. If you want to produce your show using another app, you can upload your own audio directly from web or mobile, and still take advantage of Anchor's totally free podcast hosting. Once your podcast is ready to publish, Anchor can automatically distribute it to every major podcast platform. That includes Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify, so your listeners can hear your show wherever they want. And on the web, you can see detailed analytics about how people are listening. Plus, you'll get a great-looking profile page where anyone can listen to your podcast or subscribe to it. And if you want to ask your audience to support your work, Anchor makes it easy to collect monthly payments from the people who love your podcast and want to see it grow. You really don't need a recording studio, expensive equipment, or a bunch of technical knowledge to deal with a podcast feed. Just get started and join the diverse community of podcasters already on Anchor. We can't wait to hear your podcast.
Hey you guys, welcome back here to the 1130 podcast, Talk Pro Wrestling. Appreciate you guys sticking with me throughout the commercial break. I got my guy CAQ Unshackled here, chatting it up on Talk Pro Wrestling, man. Just chatting some wrestling, you guys. We're back here on the podcast. My guy, man, we just basically review, talk about what's hot in wrestling and what's going on. And of course, this past Sunday was NXT TakeOver War Games. It was a brutal War Games, man. From the men's War Games match to the women's War Games match. Candice LeRae, of course, won for her team. And also, Undisputed Era is back on top, man. I want to get your thoughts on Pat McAfee, man. How he just transcended into the wrestling world and just, is just really breaking down, really doing his thing in a way. So, what's your thoughts on Pat McAfee?
Well, I know for me, but I'm not really into football all that much. So when it's like, oh, this football player is coming, it's not like, oh, okay. But I think out of all the football players that have showed up, I think he showed up the most. He's really doing a good job with it just because he's doing the actual training, putting in the work, and just really fully investing himself in it, so which is great to hear, and it shows a great respect for professional wrestling.
Yeah, you really do, man, because he just came in and just kicked down the door, especially when he came in and had the feud with Adam Cole, and that was just so shocking to me. And then, you got a lot of guys, I think it's Stephen Amell, who came in for SummerSlam that took on Stardust. You had a lot of guys, man, who from comedy, and athletes, entertainers. But I gotta say, man, Pat McAfee is really good. He's really killing it, man. So pickups to Pat McAfee. Johnny Gargano, man. What's your thoughts on Johnny Gargano right now?
I think that he's definitely a good wrestler, and really, I know for me personally, I don't study him that much just because I tend to study bigger wrestlers, since it's like, oh, what are guys who are more my size doing? But definitely have respect for Johnny Gargano and what he does in the ring.
Sure. Okay. So you're more the big guys in the ring.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because at 6'4", I know some 6'4" guys do a lot of high flying, but I really don't. So.
Okay. Not a big fan of the high flying. Just you like to keep it mat base.
Yeah, I'll come off the second or top rope on occasion, throw my head into somebody, but other than that, like, I'm not doing dives or anything like that. So.
Okay, yeah. Understandable.
Yeah.
Another thing, took place at NXT TakeOver War Games. We seen Tommaso Ciampa take out. What he didn't take out. He defeated Timothy Thatcher, and it was a cool matchup right there. And man, also we seen a strap match between my guy Cameron Grimes. I'm really in love with Cameron Grimes, man. He's just over the top character against Loomis, where he lost that matchup. What's your thoughts on just NXT as a whole right now?
Well, I think that NXT is transformed from this place where, all right, let's see how these guys feel to that eventually become stars, to a place where they become stars and then they move over. Becoming more of a third brand, if you will, rather than, oh, this is the developmental territory.
Okay.
This is a developmental brand. But, I mean, let's look at some of the names on there. Those are guys who could definitely fit right in on a main roster or in any other promotion. And it shows because they've been there and done that.
You're right. You are right. They are taking some of the talents like a Finn Balor, and replacing them back down in NXT. But do you feel as though NXT is any way competition, with AEW or AEW Dynamite is any competition with NXT?
Well, being that they go against one another on the same night at the same time on TV, they're definitely competition. I mean, every week you hear the wrestling newsletter people and the wrestling journalists run down the ratings war. How many people were here? Who won this demo? So it's definitely a competition. Okay. I think any show on TV is competition, really, because the more people who watch your show, the more advertising dollars you can get.
You're right about that. No, you are right about that. Only reason why I say that is because, NXT, of course, was created to be WWE's developmental territory, just to polish, the girls and guys so they can be ready for Raw and SmackDown. Now with NXT, they got the height that it, has gotten, now it's live on network television, now it's the third brand. But we all know what it is. It's WWE's developmental territory, and against AEW's, that's their number one flagship show right there, Wednesday Night Dynamite. So I mean, that's really where I come from. On the part I wanted to ask though, but I get what you're saying, man. NXT is doing this thing, man. Speaking of NXT, Finn Balor is back, man. He's saying he's back. He calling all challengers out. Who's going to get it? Karrion Kross is back.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, what's your thoughts on Karrion Kross, man? He came in, won the NXT title, got hurt, but now, he's back now. I think he's got a little feud right now with Damian Priest, though. But what's your thoughts on Karrion Kross?
No, I mean, I kind of look at him, and he kind of has the killer type persona, and definitely very convincing, and also being seconded with Scarlett too, that really helps make it different, because not a lot of people have a second like that.
Okay. Yeah, you're right, man. NXT is killing it, man. Their women's division, man, is on fire right now. I'm really impressed with Raquel Gonzalez. Don't want to mess up her name, trying to get it right. She was in the main event this past week on NXT, and she went one-on-one with Amber Moon, picked up a big victory right there. So really impressed to see what NXT got coming in the next following weeks after War Games. But we're going to move on, you guys, to some AEW, man. I just got to talk about with AEW, man, Sting, man. What's your thoughts on Sting joining AEW?
I think it's a really big deal. I mean, you can tell based on the reaction online because of Sting's star power. And the more legitimate star power you can get, the better off you're going to be. So I know with Jericho, he was the big star power. Now they have Moxley, and Sting's a big coup. Not sure about him wrestling because of everything with the spinal stenosis and all that from that buckle bomb. It was already 4 years ago?
Yeah.
It was, yeah. So, But you never know what's gonna happen. So it's sort of like a let's wait and see where it goes from here.
Okay. I mean, I was just chilling, man, and I ain't expect it. Of course, when they throw on some, tag on the show, winter is coming, even though winter, is coming and it's here now, but they threw that tag on it. I wasn't expecting Sting, got Sting. Do you feel like, it's nothing but nostalgia, basically, just, a big name, just basically tune in?
Well, I think the nostalgia is gonna make them tune in, but what they're gonna do with it is what's gonna make them leave or stay.
Exactly.
Just my opinion. And it's really good that it's different. It's not just, all right, here he's going to be the Crow again. Now it's, all right, winter's coming with the snow falling down. And it's a good evolution of it from the Crow Sting, as you will. Now I guess it'll be Winter Sting.
Okay. He seems like he's there for Darby Allin. So I'm interested, I'm really, really interested. A lot of people say they don't know about him wrestling, but if he say he's there for Darby, so I'm interested. I'm seeing where that goes, man.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. But you guys, man, we're gonna move on here on Talk Pro Wrestling, man. On to some Monday Night Raw this past week. Interesting Monday Night Raw. Not really too much big that's really popping off besides the whole angle between AJ Styles and Drew McIntyre as they lead up to WWE TLC, as AJ Styles will be challenging Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship. This past week on Monday Night Raw, it was a weird handicap match where AJ Styles teamed with Miz and Morrison to take on Sheamus and Drew McIntyre. Sheamus and Drew McIntyre seeming like, of course they cool buddies and best friends, but they joined in this tag team, persona on television, where they, best of buzz, they lads, or they fight and go drink beer. What's your thoughts on Drew McIntyre? How do you feel about him winning the WWE Championship again?
Oh, I mean, I think it feels good. I mean, I think it's definitely a fresh take. I mean, I'm not sure why he lost it, but
okay.
But I mean, that's just a wrinkle there, just to be like, okay, he lost it and he won it back, and definitely interesting to see him paired up with different people, and want to see where everything with Sheamus is going to lead. I mean, my poor trainer Pat Buck got put through a table by them. Yeah, so.
Yeah, poor man. Yeah, you said you didn't know why he lost it. Were you excited for Roman versus Randy Orton, or did you like Roman versus Drew better?
I mean, I think that Roman and Drew was the match to see. I mean, I know they had it like a year or so ago at WrestleMania 34, because 35 just passed. They had a year ago, but that was a lot different because I think Drew McIntyre's on fire and Roman Reigns is on fire too. So that's the match everybody wanted to see. I think more so than Randy Orton versus Roman Reigns.
Okay, cool, man. Drew McIntyre, of course, man, is doing his thing on Monday Night Raw. Another excited matchup that took place on Monday Night Raw. After Kofi Kingston defeated Shelton Benjamin, he turned around and took on Cedric Alexander from the Hurt Business. Really loving what the Hurt Business doing right now. Shelton Benjamin got the win over New Day's Kofi Kingston. What's your thoughts on the New Day right now? As you know, now Big E is solo on SmackDown, and Kofi and Xavier are, on Monday Night Raw.
I think it will be good to see them because they've teamed up for such a long time, and now that they're not with Big E anymore, definitely interesting to see where you go as a two-man group versus a three-man group.
Okay.
And
that'd be interesting. Big E, when he first debuted in WWE, he had the whole clap and the whole, chalk stuff. He brought that back last week on Friday Night SmackDown, which is really, really cool. So it seems like they got really, really big plans for Big E on Friday night on SmackDown. But we're gonna move on from that. Oh, before we move on from Raw, Bray Wyatt. What's your thoughts on the whole Bray Wyatt and Alexa Bliss?
Well, it's definitely good that Bray has a human to interact with versus just puppets. So,
okay.
Not saying that the puppets are bad or anything, but it's good to for her to have a woman, especially one like Alexa Bliss, working with him. So just really looking to see where it goes, whether someone has to come and save her or whether she breaks free herself, or because you never know where it's gonna go. And for me, I see what happens. I'm like, oh, what's gonna happen next time?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it seemed like the only one that's trying to come save her is Nikki Cross, and she's not having, the best of luck. So we want to see where that goes. But from one of their SmackDown, of course, is the hottest show right now in WWE. Right along with NXT. Roman Reigns, I gotta, get your thoughts. Of course, we were just talking about Roman taking on Drew at Survivor Series, but Roman Reigns and the Bloodline storyline with Jey Uso, gotta get your thoughts on that right there.
I mean, I think that's a very good story, just because you can relate to it. Like, I know for me, I have an older brother, and he was always, he's better at school, better at sports, more popular, etc. So you can really I can kind of see where Jey Uso is at with, I want to be able to be on that level and go beyond that level.
Okay. Yeah. I'm waiting to see when is Jimmy Uso is going to come involved in this story.
Yeah, I know he was involved a little bit with the I Quit match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've seen him a couple of times, so waiting to see where that goes right there. And now the fact that we got Kevin Owens in the mix right now is pretty good. Seems like WWE just, when they get the ball right or they get the hand on Kevin Owens, it go good for a little bit, and then after that, it just stops right now. So I'm really loving what they're doing with Kevin Owens. Hopefully that story, carries over. WWE announced, Goldberg was on WWE's The Bump on Wednesday. I don't know if you may heard that Goldberg basically said Roman Reigns is next. Of course, Roman was supposed to go one-on-one at WrestleMania, but Roman pulled out because of the coronavirus and everything like that.
Right,
so
of course,
it never happened. And Goldberg dropped the title to Braun Strowman. So now we got Roman Reigns. Now he is the Universal Champion. How would you feel, a Goldberg versus Roman Reigns now?
I think it would be intriguing, especially with this more evolved version of Roman Reigns, since it's a different wrinkle in it. Where I know with Goldberg, he was one of my favorites growing up, because he would just beat people up and leave.
Mm-hmm.
But I can definitely see that happening possibly at the Royal Rumble or maybe even WrestleMania next year. Okay. Who knows?
Yeah, I can actually see that happening at the Royal Rumble. You're gonna have Kevin Owens at TLC, and at the Rumble, probably him and Goldberg. And everybody is saying, man, who they would like to see Roman Reigns take on at WrestleMania, and it's my favorite wrestler of all time, The Rock, man. So I would love to see The Rock and The Rock and Roman at WrestleMania throwing it down, man. Really, really throwing it down.
Sure.
I
was gonna say, not sure about The Rock's Hollywood obligations or anything like that, but if he's able to get free of it, then that would definitely be something that people, even wrestling fans who have kind of waned out of it, be like, okay, I know Dwayne Johnson. Let's maybe take a look at this.
Yeah, you're right, man. You are totally right, man. But hey, man, CAQ, man, Unshackled, man. I appreciate you joining me here on the 1130 podcast, Talk Pro Wrestling. Before we go, man, any shout outs, man, you want to give out, man? Anything you want to say?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm helping train students at the Creative Pro New Jersey school.
Okay.
And currently the building is not open yet, but we have our first class of Zoom trainees. The head trainers, WWE producer Pat Buck, and so if you want to learn from someone who's there, that's definitely something you might want to look into if you want to pursue a career in wrestling, because me and Pat's helped me out a lot over the years that I've trained with him. So.
Okay. Anything else?
In terms of shout outs, I guess I can shout myself out on social media.
Hey, that's cool, man. Shout yourself out.
Yeah, exactly. On Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, CAQ Unshackled. Add all that. So like me, follow me, do all that good stuff. And other than that, I mean, I have no other shout outs to do.
Okay, cool, man. Appreciate it, man. Any events, man, where you gonna be wrestling at, man, in the future?
We'll see what the future holds, because right now I don't have anything on the horizon. I just, like I said, I just wanted to be in the right headspace and the right mindset to really pursue things. And hopefully once the trailer drops within the next couple of weeks, it'll drop over on my social platforms too. Once that drops, we'll see where the ball goes rolling.
Okay, that's cool, man. Man. CAQ Unshackled. Chris, man, I appreciate you joining me here on the 1130 podcast, Talk Pro Wrestling. I wish you the best in everything you do, man. I hope you get booked, man. Keep doing your thing. Stay focused and a clear mindset. 2021 is going to be a better year, man. It's going to be a much better. But once again, appreciate you joining me here on the 1130 podcast, Talk Pro Wrestling.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
No problem. Yo, bro, man, I appreciate you joining me here on the 1130 podcast, Talk Pro Wrestling, man. Man, you are an inspiration also, man. Just, being in wrestling, and also battling, mental issues, man, because a lot of guys, man, just, can't do that. It's a lot, man. We've seen a lot in wrestling. So, man, I commend you. I keep it up, man. And just keep working hard, man. I can't wait to see the trailer for your new, comeback, video. So yeah, keep it up, man. And proud of you in the victory in that dog collar matchup, man. Some brutal matchups, man. Brutal matchup. But once again, the CAQ Unshackled, man. Chris, I appreciate you joining me here on the 1130 podcast, Talk Pro Wrestling. But you guys, man, don't forget to follow the 1130 podcast on all social media platforms. Follow the 1130 podcast on Twitter at Dreonwheels. Follow me on Instagram at the 1130 podcast. Like the 1130 podcast on Facebook. If you would like to be a guest here on the 1130 podcast, you guys, man, email me the 1130 podcast at gmail.com. That's the 1130 podcast at gmail.com. Also, you guys, man, don't forget, man, to hit the follow button, man, the subscribe button. If you're listening to me on Apple Podcasts, leave a 5-star rating and a review. I appreciate it, man. Trying to get the 1130 podcast up and out there even more, man. And follow me on Spotify. Man, for real, man. Google Podcasts, everywhere, man. Don't forget to subscribe to the 1130 podcast on YouTube. But once again, you guys, man, appreciate you guys joining me here to hear me talk some pro wrestling, man, this week, man. This your man Dre, aka Drew. I'm so excited, man. Hey, yo, this your man Dre, aka Dre on Wheels. I see you guys Tuesday, man, next week, man.